Hello and welcome. I am the Last Hit Point Hero, and you have found your way to TPK Roleplay. Over the course of the next several months, we are going to be playing our way through the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure module, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. With the Dargar disposed of, the Frostmaiden's ilk make themselves better known. You will learn how many will happily kill and die at her behest. First and foremost, no attempt to make the stream child appropriate has occurred. This is a tale of cold isolation, alien incursion, and self-centered divinities. This actual play stream contains adult language, descriptions of violence and light gore, scary images, and generally speaking, a great deal of cold. Our players are here to warm the night. Safety tools are in place for the players, but you, as a viewer, do not have such a luxury. So if you have any sensitivities to the listed topics or anything gets a little bit uncomfortable, feel free to teleport away and take some time to yourself. Barring that readied action, kick back, relax, keep all heads, hands, paws, and claws inside the stream at all times. Slap the follow button to join the wonderful world of TPK Roleplay. Click the Discord link that I am certain will appear in chat at any moment to be part of the growing TPK community. And, above all else, be good. That's the rule. Be good. As far as announcements go, we do have two very important announcements before we get into things this evening. First and foremost, for the entire month of February, TPK Roleplay will be donating 50% of our proceeds to Beam. If you don't know what Beam is a national training, movement building, and grant-making organization dedicated to the healing, wellness, and liberation of Black and marginalized communities. It is Black History Month. This is a small part of giving back to a community who has had far too much taken away for far too long. So I encourage you to check them out. We have, more information can be found at that link. Secondly, TPK 2.0 is in full swing. If you don't know what that is, well, join our Discord. We have created a new board and new group called the Guild and Initiates. It's a brand new section of our community that's dedicated to playing games off screen, incorporating larger group for regular TTRPG play without the pressure of being on stream or without the kind of extras that come with that. So if you're looking for a game, that is an excellent place to take a look. I do know for a fact that the very first call to action in the guild is going to go out sometime tomorrow for an upcoming one-shot. So if you are not in the guild or don't have your eyes there or not an initiate interested in becoming a player, that is the exact place that you should be if you want to join us on stream someday. Or if you're just looking for a place to play without any of that pressure at all, that's also happening in the guild. So I would encourage you to check that out. I think that those are those announcements, and that brings us lastly to a moment of introducing these fantastic players to everyone. All of you will say hello, introduce themselves and their characters, and the question that I have for you is related directly to your introduction. For tonight, we are doing truly random introductions. You will be given an introduction, and I will introduce you as a player, but I would like you to tell us if you think that applies to your character in any way. So I have a list of 100 plus Disney movie quotes and lines that we are going to be pulling from. So I would like everyone to have a D100 ready, or a D100 roll ready for when we get to you, and we will have that as our introduction. So Foxy is taking a much needed evening off, relaxing and kicking back. So we give him all of our best, which means we start in the right center section of the screen with T. So T, could you roll a D100 for me?
All right. 45.
45. You see, when the world turns upside down, the best thing to do is turn right along with it. From Mary Poppins Returns, it's T.
Hi, I'm T, and I'm playing Brom the Paladin. My pronouns are he, they, and Brom's paladins are paladins. Whoa! Pronouns are he, him. I guess they could also be paladins too, to go match him. I would say that's actually fairly accurate. I mean, he's had to adapt here and go with the flow. Everything is definitely not what he thought it would be, but you know, he's made it work to the best of his abilities, and he's probably going to have a lot more punches thrown at him as they approach the goddess.
Perfect. Wonderful way to get us started in the upper right section of your screen. Al, could you give me a D100 roll, please? You're muted, so if you told me, I didn't hear you.
19.
19. There we go.
I was like, oh, everyone's so peaceful. That was not me being dramatic. That was me being muted. 19.
Practically perfect in every way. From Mary Poppins, it's Al.
Oh, I feel like that's super relevant to me. Thanks. That's all. My name is Al Lucart, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm a sci-fi fantasy illustrator, and I am playing Mirth, our dragonborn bard, whose pronouns are he, him. And the practically perfect in every way, I think Mirth would cheerfully and lightheartedly agree with, and probably sing a song about. It's hard to know when he's being serious and when he's not.
Makes perfect sense, and I did just put the link in Twitch chat, so if anyone wants to check that I'm doing these, I'm not sure what all 100 are, so I hope none of them get problematic. We'll read that.
They're just all from Peter Pan.
They're just all Peter Pan. Yeah. Oh
it's
no.
Real bad.
No. I'm reading them before I'm saying them. I do promise you that. Continuing in the top left section of your screen, Niffer Niff, could you give me a D100 roll?
51.
51. They say if you dream a thing more than once, it's sure to come true. It's Niffer.
What is that from?
Beauty. Sleeping Beauty.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't watch that. Anyways, hi, I'm Niffer Niff. I am playing Lain. He is a human warlock. His pronouns are he, him. My pronouns are they, them. I am gonna say that quote makes sense, but only because Lane's warlock patron will send him dreams a lot, and they're not true. Are they true? I don't know. Some, like, it's kind of hit or miss. Mercutio's mercurial, which is why that's what his name is, or their name is. So yeah, I guess it fits.
Makes sense. We'll definitely.
I don't think anything about it makes sense, but you know, sure.
You know, we'll see.
Mercutio
is Mercutio.
Mercutio is mercurial.
Mercutio is mercurial. Continuing down in the left center section of your screen, Rox, could you give me a D100, please?
70.
70.
One away from the nice number.
You must not let anyone define your limits because of where you come from. Your only limit is your soul. From Ratatouille.
That's so good.
Oh, I guess I actually have to give my intro now. Hi, everybody. My name is Rox, and I'll be playing Neo tonight. Both of our pronouns are he, him. Neo is a Fire Ganassi monk. And I would say for sure that applies with Neo, just because he is always trying to find higher and higher limits. Whether he was born from his original parents or his adoptive parents, he would never let that define who he is, and he is always trying to strive for more. So yeah, that was a beautiful quote, and I'm glad it wasn't from Mary Poppins.
Yeah, we dodged. We had two different versions of Mary Poppins. So, and I did roll for myself in roll 20 for number 73. I am the last hit point hero. I use the he, him pronouns, and 73, my introduction is, there are those who say fate is something beyond our command, that destiny is not our own, but I know better. Our fate lives within us. You only have to be brave enough to see it. From Brave. And as the
That
GM
seems too suspiciously accurate.
and controller
Yeah.
of fate, I oversee it all. I included the link. Feel free to check me on all the rolls. They are all 100% accurate, and many were much more accurate than I expected in doing a random introduction. So I'm very
Well
glad.
done.
'Twas fate.
It was fate.
Well done.
Fate that I just talked about controlling and then denying. So we'll see. For tonight, that is pretty much where we jump back in, is with the Cold Hands group and questions and conversations of fate and what's going on. As for where they are, the group has been traveling back to Bremen in order to take Laine's children back to their home, where they fled to Bryn Shandar for safety's sake. The message was sent to them to get there. With the Charlatan Dragon defeated, the thought is, well, we'll take the kids back, leave them in good hands, which Lain has now learned after weeks away from his children, that his Fey patron has been taking care of them in the in-between times.
I did not realize that Mercutio got to stay there. How dare they be in my house?
So there has been, let's say, a lot going on. But for a full, true, and honest summary, there's really only one fish that can give us the dish. It's Ol'Bitey.
Oh, a city under ice, the quest which does entice, mages looking, intrigue cooking, who will pay the price? Oh, family to take home, then to find a tome, Professor Orb, knowledge absorbed, cross Icewind Dale they roam. Oh!
I always appreciate your insight and take on what the group is up to. But we do pick up about an hour outside of Targos, perhaps 2 hours walking in normal weather, to get the rest of the way to Bremen. But, of course, this is Icewind Dale, and normal weather isn't really a thing with Icewind Dale. Telltale signs of a storm blew in, and inevitably, the group found themselves once again at the mercy of a snowstorm, a blizzard. As they began prepping to stay in the modus operandi of putting up an igloo and snow shelter for the night, there is another scene that I want to call to mind briefly, happening quite a bit away from where they are. Creaky wood and the slap of water against a rowboat reminds Grinsk that no matter how bad things get here in Icewind Dale, he will always have his ship, rods, and the knuckleheads beneath the water. Replacing lost bait, the dwarf casts and secures a strong fishing pole. 5 others bristle the edges of his modest rowboat. A moment's respite is all he gets as one of the poles bobs and then bends. Must be a big one, Dwarven Fisher mutters out loud to himself. Maybe the size of the one at the North Look in Bryn Shandar. The pole bends further, and the small boat follows, dipping into the water. Feisty, too. Dumb knuckleheads usually don't put up much fight. Losing its tension, the arc in the fishing pole slowly relaxes. Grint's confusion gives way to terror as slick gray skin surfaces, and a voice from the water burbles up asking, "Who are you calling dumb?" But that brings us back to our snow shelter, a few hours away from events the players have no way of knowing, or the characters have no way of knowing. As for you, there are 2 goblin children bickering in a snow shelter that is already far too tiny for the 5 of you. The attempts at a fire have been kicked out multiple times. At the moment, Azerus has hands on either side of a fire, sitting much closer than what would be comfortable, as he is less affected than many of you. Neo, I imagine, also being less affected by the flames, is trying to keep the bickering kids out of it. That is where we pick up. So how are all of you dealing with bickering goblin children in a too small snow shelter in the middle of a blizzard, only 2 hours from your destination?
Well, Neo's gonna kind of like play. I think it's called like kick the bucket. I think that's what I used to play as a child, where he's trying to block the kids from getting to the fire. So every time they come up, he'll like get in the way, play with them a little bit, just to try to keep them away from the fire. He's kind of just keeping his eyes peeled on them.
You get your foot stomped on pretty hard as the 2 are wrestling.
No, let me get out of it. This is mine.
I won't let you touch this fire.
You're in the way. It's too tight in here.
You gotta try better than that.
Immediately, the younger of the 2 looks your way, grins, and starts kicking at the fire. Could you give me a, let's say, we'll do opposed dexterity. I think that's...
Oh no. Neo versus a baby.
This is what Finders Keepers has led up to.
Oh gosh, I know I'm gonna
Neo
lose.
Oh no, the
baby.
child rolled well.
Child has a negative modifier.
Why? Have you seen how fast children are?
What happened?
11.
What's happening? Oh no.
11. You are juked by a goblin child, and the fire is kicked out once again.
Donna.
I did it.
Donna Rose.
Mirth also sits down at that tone of voice looking nervous.
But I did.
We need the fire to keep warm.
Uh-oh.
Neo slowly walks over to it. He spits like a little fireball at it to restart the fire.
Cute.
Try it again.
Love it.
Thank you, Neo.
I said try again.
Say, kids, have you ever heard of juggling?
Just wait, I'm kicking the fire.
And
Mirth takes
immediately
out
tries to
some
kick at the
knives.
fire again.
I'm gonna get it this time. 22.
Did you get it? Oh, they were seriously going
With
to
a
go
7.
for the fire. I thought
As
you were
soon-
joking.
As soon as Mirth said, "These are knives," Ghana turned in mid-kick.
No.
Can you juggle those?
We're about to find out, I guess.
Mirth sort of stops like multiple knives in his hands and just looks at Neo and realizes that he's gunged it up and like Neo actually had this, and he sort of goes, "Nope!" and he folds them back and like slides them sleight of hand style into his sleeves like presto, nothing to see here.
Next time?
If you're good, I say, looking sort of for approval at Lain.
Behind Ghana's head is just like,
No. Yes? Maybe.
And?
Nope. Guillotine. Knife? No.
What?
Sharp? Oh.
Ghana turns around to look at Lain. Did you tell him I couldn't?
Ice did not say a word to him.
This continues for several hours as the blizzard sets in.
I checked my spell list about halfway through. I don't have sleep. I checked last time, but I had to double check. But I do have prestidigitation, so I hope that keeps their mind a little bit.
With each passing hour, the equivalent of about 12 and 9 human years, I think that's what we settled on, right?
Yeah, like the older or the young? Yeah, 12 and 9, I think, yeah.
Yeah. The essentially 12 and 9-year-old goblin children are bickering mightily in the very small snow shelter. But each hour, no, it gets harder. It doesn't get easier. We know that's the case. I do need everyone to give me a perception check.
Hooray.
All right. Brom was actually praying and meditating for most of that period, and he opens his eyes and realizes finally, after a really long time, that he's no longer drunk.
Yep.
Breathes a sigh of relief. And roll perception, which I think he has no bonuses to, so let me check.
I got a 15.
15? Okay.
He got a 19 plus 1. You said
19.
perception? 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
11.
Excellent.
Wait, what are we rolling?
Perception.
Oh.
Yep.
I got a 9.
A 9? So, Rom, you can just make out over the noise of the blizzard outside a rumble in the distance. You can't make out what it is, but there is definitely a sound.
Brom was sitting with his legs crossed in like a prayer position, almost a lotus position. But he gets up very suddenly. He's still wearing his armor. He wasn't sleeping. And he kind of turns towards their door and draws his sword. Not all the way, but just, he has it at the ready. He kind of pauses. He pauses by where their door hole usually is and goes to listen again.
You don't hear anything further. It's a rumble that seems to slowly fade.
Mirth looks up from where he's teaching the kids how to get out of handcuffs and goes, Brom? Gotta use the loo? Kind of like, what's that peeking?
There's something here, he says. He's kind of crouched. I guess I can show you visually, actually.
Oh yeah.
He's crouched kind of like this, like in a ready position. He listens. It doesn't hear anything. I don't hear it. I think something's out there.
We
Another
should go
Yeti?
outside and check.
I interpose myself between my children and the door.
Okay.
It's pitch black out there. Who can see it in the dark?
I can.
Me.
Well, it's
All right.
always dark in Icewind Dale.
Yeah.
But it's especially dark in the middle of a blizzard. So who's sticking their head out?
I will.
All right. Neo, you stick your head out into the cold, and the flames of your hair immediately recede much deeper into your skull, into your scalp.
Buzz cut.
It looks much more. It's a much tighter trim all of a sudden. The snow is flecked with balls of ice. And while these blizzards have always been unpleasant and stung, this is worse than usual. It's colder than usual. You look around. Go ahead and give me another perception check.
A 10.
Then
I don't blame you.
you look around, and between the blowing snow, the ice stinging your eyes, you don't see anything unusual, nor do you see evidence.
Okay, I'll pull my head back inside. It's very cold out there, so I wasn't able to see anything, so we should keep alert just until the storm dies down.
Brom is going to... Torches are made with pitch so they don't go out with wind or wet. So he's going to take one of the torches and go look outside to see if he can see anything. So right now he's holding his sword with one hand and his torch in the other, which will give him, it changes, if he has to fight, it'll change what the damage will be if he has to do something.
Sure. You make your way out, Azerus following along behind, quietly observing his massive sword in hand. What did you hear, bro?
A rumbling. Maybe something was just moving, but I don't think so.
Well, we shouldn't go too far, but we need to know.
It's hard to tell your direction when there's a blizzard, so he's not going to move too far away. I mean, they can see the light from where they are. But I suppose they can walk out a little bit and see if they see anything. Brom got a 16.
16 survival or a perception?
Perception.
Perception. With a 16, you don't hear the sound anymore. You don't see anything. You also notice that the blizzard is particularly stinging to your eyes and to you, and anything exposed, and you can hear the ice bouncing off of your armor. That ting 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 ting.
Gosh.
In your hand, the torch, even burning with pitch, gutters a little bit, and the flames recede. Much more than you would expect, even in wind this strong. Do you want to move far enough away that you can't turn around to see the snow shelter?
How far would that be?
Only about 30 or 40 feet.
He's going to give Azerus a rope and go out farther.
Okay. So Azerus will hold the rope and go, I will stay here.
Oh, I've seen Jurassic Park. Wait, never mind.
Tug twice if you need my help, and I will come.
I will.
How much rope do you have?
How much rope does he have?
Less than 30 feet. No.
Usually about 50 feet.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You can have some of mine too if you need it, like 100 feet of rope or so. Let me go see how many Mirth has.
I have 50.
I got really activated about the survival stuff like a year ago when we started this game, so I think we have very sufficient rope.
Yeah, he's got like 50 feet of rope, so he's good.
Okay.
You make that 150, like.
Okay.
150?
Do
Yeah.
not give him that big of a leash. We're going to lose our paladin.
No, we won't.
You already
No,
have
we
a tank. You'll be
won't.
fine.
You start tying ropes together, and it doesn't take too long to collect everything that you need, tie them together, hand them to Azerus. He stands just a few feet outside of the entrance to your snow shelter. And you start to walk into the snow. The cold is bitter. So much more bitter than what you've experienced so far. And you could swear that you can almost hear whispers in the winds. Nothing tangible. Nothing to make you think there's really, really something there. But there is something ominous carried along the wind.
He's gonna do something different. Since the torch, what kind of light does the torch emit? Is it bright
You have
light?
about essentially 5 feet of bright light around you, and then maybe another 10 of dim at best.
Okay. Brom's gonna activate his sacred weapon, which produces bright light.
Okay.
We can see
So
better.
it emits bright light in a 20 feet radius and dim light in another 20 feet. You have used this in the darkness before. You know what to expect from its light. And it is definitely diminished in this storm. You get an extra 5 feet of bright light, and an extra of dim as well. But it's only about half as effective as you were thinking.
Ooh.
Brom will look around and look for like footprints and other things that might be of interest out here, so he can see slightly better. He also listens for anything moving.
Okay. Go ahead and give me... actually, let's do a survival check.
I think he gets a +0 to that one. Let me see. Yeah, no, he gets the +1. All right. 17. Hooray!
17. You start to move along this rope. You go out 25 feet. Another 25. Another 25. Another 25. And you get out to the limits of this 150 feet of rope that you have tied together. And just beyond, the light of your weapon shines off of a layer of ice. Probably another, just at the edge of your vision. So if you had 10, 20, yep, it's about 20 feet away. There is this glistening sheen on the ground. It's different than the snow that you've been treading through.
See if your tongue sticks to it.
I'm not going to make any lamppost winter jokes. Instead, Brom sees it, feels like something is wrong. He's going to go back now, not because he's in danger, but because he has something to report. I should say, like, the way that he's kind of moving around, I don't know if anyone has animals at home, but, you know, like, whenever dogs are on alert, they always have, like, that funky, like, stiff body,
Posture?
like, stiff, like, body posture where they're kind of, like, poised and, like, looking and listening, and that's kind of what he's been doing. But he goes ahead and marks back. He'd tell Azerus it's fine, he didn't see anything bad out there. He'd come back inside and he'd sort of pat himself off and be like...
As you turn around to head back, what is your passive perception?
Not good. Passive perception... 11.
11? Just enough. You turn around to head back to the snow shelter, and as you do, at the very edge of your spiritual weapon light, there is a something skitters past at the edge of your light.
He brandished his weapon and kind of tugs on the rope a couple of times. He doesn't want to enter combat with a bunch of, like, flesh-eating rats as just himself.
So you want to call Azerus out to you as well?
Yeah. Well, he wants to GTFO, but
Do you want us to help reel you in?
not yet.
Do you want to split the party?
Okay, you know what, Jera? You
Okay, we're
tug
gonna-
on the thing, and Mirth's voice, using sending, pops up into your head and goes, "You okay?"
Can he respond?
Yes.
What is the range on sending?
Oh, bloody hell. Let's go make
Sending
sure
is
this is
like
legal.
Anywhere.
It can go into different dimensions.
Yeah, sending
Okay,
is
I just
anywhere.
wanted to make sure it was sending, not message. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
sending is a 25-word limit, so
What
you know.
25 words do you send?
You okay?
Oh.
You okay? You okay? You okay?
Just 20 times. I think Mirth says, "Are you okay? Tug twice if you want us to come out there, and once if you want to come back."
Tugs one.
Okay.
Okay.
So Mirth will communicate that since you tugged once, what Mirth thinks is that you want to come back. So we're gonna hold the line and make sure that we're keeping it taut with you. So if you get eaten by a Yeti, we'll feel the slack and hopefully come get you.
That's
Before it's
true
too
friendship
late.
right there.
Pulling the rope back, there's no resistance except that which Brahm gives on the other end, who's also trudging through the blizzard to come back. And after just a few minutes, he makes it back to the end of that 150 feet of rope. And all of you find yourselves standing in a very miserable blizzard.
You okay?
I'm fine. Listen,
Anybody ever tell you you're a little nuts? Mirth says, like, looking at how you're crusted with ice.
he kind of huffed. There's something wrong out there. This blizzard, it's not natural. There's something going on. I came across a wall of ice all the way out, maybe 20 feet from the end of this slack. I saw something running from me on the way back too. Don't know what it was. Probably hostile within this place. Kind of crossing his arms like,
Well, the safest place we could be is here in the hut. If it wants to bother us, it will have to come here.
Or
And
we're
our-
all together.
And our first priority are protecting the children. So
yeah, true enough.
Thank you.
I give them a knife.
Ghana reaches for the knife.
They have to protect themselves.
Oh, they can.
Ghana smiles, and you see a mouthful of wicked teeth.
Just a little bear trap mouth, just chain chomp.
Yeah, the very first, like, session 0 interaction was me waking up to the children biting each other.
Excellent.
It was great.
Everyone pulls back in. Azerus seems particularly unnerved,
Oh no.
and as he has, he steps outside to the entrance of the snow shelter to stand guard. But it's only about a half hour where even he returns back through the entrance. I think I'm experiencing what you call cold.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's how you know it's cold when Azerus thinks it is.
And he gets closer to the fire and kind of puts his massive hands over it.
Yeah, I'll prestidigitate some warmth onto him.
Anything else while you're in this snowstorm as the blizzard continues?
How, like, what time of day does
You're
it
about-
get to be?
You're about 5 hours into this blizzard. It started at noon, it's about 5 in the evening.
Great. Food time. Something to distract everyone.
Take time to make a meal.
Concert.
Anything you want to do before the blizzard ends?
Concert, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sure.
Concert
Just
takes
like
place.
every dinner.
Every dinner. I do not
Every
sing.
meal is concert.
Oh,
Captive
boy.
There's-
audience.
There is
Quite
singing.
literally.
Both goblin children are very sharp, but they sing.
Hey, we work on it.
nothing
Yeah.
from me.
After a couple more hours, the wind dies down. It's essentially 7 in the evening
Ugh.
as the blizzard subsides. The wind begins to quiet, and then the silence of Icewind Dale returns.
Snow day.
We should head out and move fast.
Yeah.
I
Let's
agree.
get home.
Fearless leader.
Sweet.
You,
it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
make
go.
your way
We're all
out.
going.
You start continuing on the journey toward Bremen. It
Question.
is. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. On our way out, can we swing by where Brahm saw something and see if we can figure out where that ice thing is that he saw, if it's still there?
Yep. So, intending to keep an eye out, you continue forward, and about just shy of 200 feet out from where you took shelter, there is a 3-foot tall wall that stretches as far as you can see to the left and to the right.
Like around us?
No, just like a short wall.
Oh.
You come to a short wall.
Like they have in Wales. Like just
Yes.
short, long, yeah.
Like
Can I roll something to see if I know what the hell, if this has any significance beyond being wall? Like, is it made out of ice? Like,
So, Laine is a local who
Yeah.
has made this trip many times. There is no wall here. As you get closer to it to look, you see there is a second wall, similar to it, of the same height, almost identical, about just shy of 10 feet away.
so it's like parallel?
Yes, exactly parallel.
Is it like crossing the road that we need to get to? Did they put
So-
up speed bumps while we were gone?
This is something else that Laine would know.
Mhm.
There's no true road, and there never has been,
Mhm.
between Targos and Bremen. Unlike many of the 10 towns, Targos and Bremen are close enough that just sticking fairly near the southern border of Maer Dualdon, the lake
Mhm.
there, you can get there safely enough that no true road was ever built or made. It was a bit of a game trail, but nothing substantial.
Mhm.
Unlike some of the other roads, there are none of the markers or anything else to show where to go.
Is this like, so if on the map it's like here's Targos and here's Bremen, are the walls running this way
Oh,
or
I see.
that way? Like, is it like a wall in between the two cities, or is it attempt at a path being cleared?
It is between the two.
So a
Between-
wall being made, a barrier.
So it basically, you're
Yes, draw
more or
us a
less
picture.
along the dotted line,
Hmm.
and the parallel lines, I'll just go to black for convenience,
Thank you.
appear to be doing something like that.
Cool. Not.
And then Mirth, you were taking a look to see what it was made of. There
I didn't-
is quite a bit of snow on top of it from the blizzard, but as you brush some of the snow off, there's about 4 to 6 inches of snow you brush off, and yes, it's ice.
just solid.
underneath.
Okay.
Just solid ice.
Do we know
Merce
who put
reports
this here?
back. Are there any fell creatures that could have done something like this, like a devil? I read about ice devils before. Could it be that?
Do they usually build walls?
I don't know. Polar bears, perhaps.
Rom just blinked.
They do
you
not build walls. The polar bears.
can- He's gonna look for tracks around.
White dragons.
Okay, give me a survival check.
9. Nope.
Nope, you don't find any tracks at all, but that doesn't surprise you either because there has been about 4 hours of blizzard since you saw whatever it was skitter by.
Do snowcats have thumbs? Just
Rom
checking.
puffs softly. Let me see. He has his rings. We should probably get going soon, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna-
Can we
Martha's
break
gonna
a
mark
path
that on the map. Just
Okay.
make a tiny note of it, what he sees, and adds it to our magic map.
That'd be good. We have to like hop over the walls to get across them.
Ghana has started scrambling up the side of this little
Nope.
wall.
Oh boy.
Nope.
and At
Pick
the
her
top,
up.
grabbed by Laine.
But I wanna go down.
I know, but we need to be safe.
Take a knife.
Again,
Ghana
that is
reaches for a knife.
nope.
Can we break a path in the wall?
I mean, it's 3 feet. We can just lift you over.
That's true.
If you want to
we
break
could
it, you can.
probably-
You could step over it. I mean, this isn't like a journey-ending obstacle so much as an unusual.
I've
Decent
hopped
addition
fences
to the
taller
landscape.
than this. Come on, we can do it.
That's true.
I'm gonna go wherever Laine shows us to go. And I will make a brief mention of Mercutio and kind of look at Laine and be like, this doesn't seem to be something that you're.
No, this is far too planned.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like something you'd have to commit to.
Honestly, my guess is this looks like it's supposed to be a railway. Like just an easier path to follow. Like you get in between those 2 lines and head out.
I would not be surprised if it was Aura. With Brom finally. He's fiddling with his rings if he's thinking about asking it a question.
I probably don't have exactly where we are on the map, but like, hey, that looks like it's a straight shot to Lonelywood. If it continues all the way, just saying.
You wouldn't have. It's coincidence of how I drawed it, and you wouldn't have any way to.
Okay. I'm like,
Neo, you were gonna step over the wall.
You didn't
said
connect shit. I've connected them.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump over it. I don't want to touch the wall.
You jump over the
hurdles.
wall. You very easily hop over this 3-foot tall wall. When you land on the other side, you go through a little bit of snow before there's solid ice underneath. I need a quick dex check, as you were not expecting solid ice on the other side.
As he's like slipping and catching his balance, I just kind of turn to Ghana in my arms and be like, and this is why we let other people go first.
Nat 20.
A nat 20.
Oh,
dang it! Why did you look cool?
Tobogganing. You invent the Winter Olympics.
Neo hops the wall. You immediately feel the ice beneath. You just let your momentum carry you. It pulls you part of the way across this just shy of 10-foot gap. You toss in a triple sow cow just for the sake of doing it. And and land on your feet solid.
Claps his head off.
Triple sow cow.
Yeah.
Cow.
I have never heard of that. I have
It's an
looked
ice
that up.
skating term.
But I'm gonna turn around. There's ice, guys. Just be safe.
Mirtha's gonna try and do that move, like just in awe of that that acrobatic feat. I'm legit gonna try and do it.
Since this is intentional, give me an acrobatics check as you
yeah.
hop the wall.
Oh, it's hard to read these dice. I only got a 14 though.
14.
You're so nimble.
You do make it off the ice. You do get into the spin. You do not stick the landing, but you also don't fall.
Hooray!
Mirth starts he kind of slides into you, Neo, and is like cracking up in that way of like, you know how just like boys goofing off parkour, whatever. He kind of does that experience with you and is like, Neo, you're too much. That's wild.
No, that was amazing. Can you do it again?
I doubt it.
You never know until you try.
Mirth will play with you on the wall as at request will do so.
Brom is going to try to hop over the wall. He does this as simply as possible. Basically, like, put the arm down and hop. Well, he's also wearing armor, so he doesn't want to fall.
Yeah, that would be sad.
You go ahead. We won't let the dice tell us. You tell us how Brom makes it across a very slick 10 feet.
Well, he hops, and then his leg kind of slides out, and he catches himself on the wall and slides back up with a 15. I did roll for him.
Perfect.
He looks a little stupid, but he doesn't fall.
Sometimes that's the most important thing.
And then he kind of like jostles himself up and tries to pretend like he was dignified the whole time.
Throw the children, says Mirth. Azerus will catch them.
No. I walk up to the edge of the wall and very gently lower the first one down. and then kind of give them a nice little pat of like, okay, walk carefully. They know how to walk on ice. They are
know how to
lake
walk on
children.
ice. They are.
We're probably
These
good at that.
are
They are.
Icewind Dale natives and have probably played hockey more than once and kind of skate around almost as well as Neo did.
Mm-hmm. Pick up the next one, plunk him down.
Same story.
Yep. And I'm very tall, so I can probably just step right over. So I do that.
Okay. You can tell me how you make it across if you want, or we can just go on to Bremen.
With dignity.
Dignity. Azerus is shuffling his feet across.
Mm-hmm.
Makes his way across. You climb over and make your... Yeah.
When, like, going in between the two walls, is it, like, inclined? Like, is this just a very slippery slide?
There is a little bit of an incline to it. It's
Which
not...
way?
It's a little bit deeper in the middle than on the outside.
This is a luge.
In some ways, it's like a double wide, well, probably like quadruple wide luge-like feel, with no
Giants
real
are luging,
direction.
guys. The Giants
Maybe-
Olympic team.
Let's be
They're gonna
cool
win.
runnings. Let's just turn our entire game.
All right, rotate the toboggan. Down we go. Anyways.
With nothing more to note about it, you spend the next 3 hours until about 10 at night making your way to the small town of Bremen. You get to the edge of Bremen. There are a handful of torches still out to generally light the way. I have to put you in Bremen. And you find yourself oh, this doesn't have the lighting right. 1 second.
Wow, it's like we're actually there in the very dark night.
Get there at night, and it's hard to see.
Everything's black.
You arrive on the southern end of Bremen, right next to buried treasures. What is effectively one of the inns here in town. This one, Laine would be, quick to point out, is the one that Cora oversees, Orwar's mother.
Yeah.
Bremen itself sits right at the mouth of the Shangarn River, at Maer Dualdon. The Shangarn has been frozen solid for quite a while. And while there is still plenty of knucklehead fishing that takes place on Maer Dualdon, it requires quite a bit of a walk to get from where the docks are to where the ice is broken up enough to get in your boats. The town is small. Only about 150 live there. And yet, it has an unusually large number of inns. 6, in fact. Laine knows that the 5 inns in the center of town, the 5 Tavern Center, were founded by 5 brothers who had intended to start an inn together, and over a series of just a handful of months, found out they could not work together for anything. And their 5 families each started an inn at the town center.
That's funny. They couldn't get
I mean,
along.
that's great.
I mean, sounds like my family, but yes, continue.
The town itself makes its living on knucklehead trout. Laine knows that is, between the fat that's in the head of the knucklehead trout being used for incense and balms and various medicinal purposes, and the meat itself being really what everyone in Icewind Dale subsists on. The town is not rich, of course, this is Icewind Dale. But they're not poor or backwater to any extent.
So it's like a little schmancier than some of the other places we've been? Like a little bit more money?
A little, not as much money as Bryn Shandar by far, and not as large as Eastwatch. It puts Targus to shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Targus
so-
can suck it. I mean, what?
So Targus,
I'm a native.
Targus, which is where Garrett and his husband were,
Oh, yeah.
is it's more of a hunting camp than a full-fledged town in a lot of ways. While Bremen's respectable. Bremen is a nice place.
There's so many inns to sing at in so little time.
Oh boy. Yeah.
It's a tour, 5 at once, really. I haven't been so popular in years.
Honestly, you
Months,
could
really.
probably just stand in the square outside all their doors and just be really loud and get all of them at once.
You genius.
Okay.
From
So that's where
raises
you'll
an
be
eyebrow.
for the night.
Are we gonna get to see your home, Lain?
Oh, sure.
I'd like to.
I used to know which house was mine on this map.
I
But then it's been a year.
I think you did point to one. I didn't mark down which one it is, and it's
You can pick a new one.
I am. I'm just. Hang on. Let me look this
I'm
map.
gonna grab some chips with your
Check the real estate. Can you tell me about the schools nearby, just so I know which one is great? No, I'm kidding. Everyone's homeschooled.
all the money went into inns.
Yeah,
All the money went into
it's
the
true.
inns.
This is a town that has no church, no temple, no school, barely a town center. They've got inns.
And
Yes.
they've got fish. And really, that's all
really
they need.
got fish. I want this one. That's my
Okay.
house now.
That's your house now. You escort the group to the Lanehart residence.
Yeah.
And why don't you go ahead and tell us what it looks like as you approach?
Oh boy. I haven't thought of this. I put a lot of thought into the people of my family, not the house. It's like a small house. Most of the houses here are not like, oh, super big and everything. Like, it's very practical and very like, hey, we live in an ice area, so everything's like basically one room with a couple of dividers at best. And so this is very much like very basic but like sturdy house. Definitely a lot of you can tell where like repairs have been made, and like patchings on the roof and like add-ins to the walls. And there is a little like fenced in like coop in the backyard, and like a fenced in area because the Lanehart family has a lot of pets, as it turns out. We just keep collecting them. So yeah, I imagine that there is no smoke coming from the chimney because we left, and so it probably just looks real cold and dark and sad right now. But I'll.
Do you remember it being bright yellow, orange, and shades of purple?
Nice. Didn't take you for the type, Mirth says, doing finger guns on the way past.
While every other home of Bremen is boring wood or frost-covered stone,
To murder a fae.
the Lanehart house is a gradient of yellows and oranges with deep purples and hints of red. It's beautiful, absolutely garish beyond imagination, but it's nice.
I imagine this late at night, Ghana has kind of been like the carry me type thing. So I just have her in my arms, and I just kind of give her a look of, so did you have time to do your homework while you were painting all of this? Or
Completely asleep.
just,
Completely asleep.
Okay. I then turned the glare on Cade.
Cade just kind of shrinks in a little bit more. Stuffed
It's your
animal
house.
and
Mm-hmm.
grabbed.
That's Brom.
What?
Brom says, I like your house.
Thanks. It's definitely
Yeah.
ours.
Should have said it was prettier this way.
It is.
It stands out.
And now
Okay.
everyone knows where we live.
You
It's
open the
really
front door,
your house.
and as soon as you open the front door, there is another chicken that flutters from one shelf to another. You look around,
There's also
And-
a cat.
every pot and pan of the house is spread out all over the place. The table is upside down, attached to the ceiling, the chairs as well. A bench off to the side is also upside down, but this time not attached to the ceiling. Every article of clothing in the house is spread across the house, and it essentially appears as though a tornado has gone through. Mercutio turns from the kitchen sink, the scrub brush continuing to scrub the pot behind them, and says, "What do you call this hour?"
There's Blizzard. Sorry.
"And with the children, too. Get in here and close that door before you let all the heat out."
Mom Cuccio.
Yeah, Mom Cuccio's back, y'all. They're my children. I can look after them how I like.
Look at Ghana. To bed, to bed, to bed, to bed. Kate.
Well, listen.
Go.
Maybe they could go to bed if you didn't disrupt their house. Can you fix at least their room?
They'll be fine.
They can't sleep on the ceiling.
It's fun to eat up there, though.
Great. Fix it.
We'll see. As long as you're good. You have things to do. I'll take the children. Put your friends to bed.
Bertha's
And-
trying to climb onto a seat from the ceiling.
That's
you
not a
near-
sturdy beam.
As you reach up to try and pull
Oh,
yourself
no.
into the seat, you do feel gravity shift. And with very
Oh.
little difficulty, you find yourself sitting at a table suspended from the seat.
Hey, look at me!
From
Mirth
being
looks
very,
upside down.
very little brains, stares up at Mirth and kind of like looks at him with wonder. Oh,
Mirth gestures to you, like Adam reaching for God. That one painting.
Brom kind
Sistine
of
Chapel?
reaches out. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brom
that
reaches out to like to boop him with his finger, just like.
one. So Brum does it. Ah,
like,
gotta draw some art there.
Yeah, we need that. I'm absolutely going to make that art.
A few moments later, you hear a very gentle song coming from the children's room
Yeah.
that is sung so very sweetly. And in order to not destroy what you're imagining right now, I won't attempt it.
I was going to say, is it sung by Mercutio or is it sung by Lain?
It is sung by Mercutio. You can hear from the other room.
Is it their lullaby?
It is their lullaby.
Yay.
Cute.
Good.
Maybe we should leave so we don't disturb the peace.
Oh, they can sleep through anything. It's fine.
As you look around your house at the mess left behind, there is, you notice, a pile of papers next to the door in a basket that weren't there before.
I pick it up, start going through it.
Take up a few, and there are well wishes from members of the town talking about they've heard everything that Achilles Laneheart has been doing to return to Icewind Dale as a great hero and how appreciative they are. And all of them, I mean, these are your neighbors, they know you well. Many of them have notes in there about, I know you don't like to hear it, but we thank you for being a part of our town. Others are like, you know, my mother didn't want me to share this recipe with anyone, but I know that I can entrust it to you. And it's like a cookie recipe that's not even special, you know, but you know, it's there.
Yeah. Aww. Precious.
That's really cute.
And then there is another letter in there
Uh-oh.
from Speaker Dolbegroff Shaleskar, the dwarf in charge of town. And it simply says, when you have a moment, there is a matter I would like to discuss.
Cool. Rocks are muted.
That was probably for the best.
Oh, oh no!
Cool. Yeah, I flip through the mail and put most of it back in the box, and then kind of show off the letter from the speaker and be like, if you wouldn't mind sticking around for just a little bit longer, I'll put you up here. We can sleep on the ceiling, I guess. And then a friend of mine here needs something.
We would love to
if
help.
You don't mind.
Yes, let me help for it whenever I can.
Yeah. And then I'll like go through. So like our house is like one big square, and then it's got like one partition that's split into two for the kids' room and our room. So I just kind of like head into my side and grab like more blankets and soft things and just kind of like sleep over. Woohoo. Yeah, that's it.
Sleepover.
Hooray. I don't know if the blankets reorient themselves to the ceiling or how long that's gonna last.
We'll find out.
Set you up.
Yeah, find out.
And then I want to pull not rocks. I do not want to pull rocks aside. I want to pull Neo aside and just say, like, still got any energy left in you?
It's a little bit.
Go on a walk with me.
Okay.
And I will walk you down like 5 houses, because that's how big the town is, to the outskirts of Bremen, where there is, like, we're not big enough to have a temple or shrine or anything to any deity, but there's like a multi-purpose, like non-denominational place for anybody that like has like things to say, and it's kind of a like good place to go. And on the way I'm just kind of like, there is one more person they gotta meet, and I start walking you towards here, and then head to the side of the very small building to a very large and snow-covered field, and go to a very particular spot and start kicking the snow away. And after a lot of work, because it's been a lot of blizzards, there is a small gravestone that you can see says Damrin on it. And as more is uncovered, it says Lain's heart. And he kind of shows that to you, and Lain just says, Damrin worked for Mercutio too.
So sorry. What happened?
We were work partners a long time before we wanted to be life partners. And so we retired. We got out. But thing about retirement is that your boss doesn't tell you when they're going to revoke their powers. So we'd made a life for ourselves here. There are a couple of raids sometimes that go up, and we all defend as much as we can. And when you're used to being able to do what you can, and then one day you can't, it's easy to get caught off your guard. That's why I don't want you thinking about talking to him again, okay? You want power, fine. You want to be a hero, fine. You don't get that from Mercutio. Mercutio doesn't give anything. All they ever do is take.
I'll consider it. I understand what you feel. I do, but I just want to make sure that nobody else gets taken from their families. And if I have to give my life to do that, I'm prepared to do so.
You are more than capable of being a hero without it. You already are.
It's not what I've seen so far. There's 1.5 less towns now, and I hate to think that maybe if I was a little stronger, that wouldn't be the case.
You think if you were having a deal with Mercutio, you would have been able to save them? I do have a deal with Mercutio. I couldn't save him either.
I think it would have been worth a try. But for now, I won't take any sort of deal. But I won't lie to you. In the future, I don't know what I'll do. And I just hope that no matter the decision, we'll still be friends.
I don't think I'm getting out of this alive.
You will, because you have a family to take care of.
You think that matters to Mercutio?
I think I'll give my life to make sure that you return to your kids. Even if it means trading places with you.
I clap you on the back and I kind of pull you close to give you a little bit of a head nuzzle.
Sizzle.
Oh. Yep. No,
Sorry.
okay, so I
Don't
like
mind me.
pull and I like go and then
He dimmed it down a little bit. His hair's a little dim.
Todoroki.
and then just the like pat the inner shoulder and just thing about being a father is kids come first. All right?
Thing about being a hero is everybody else comes first.
Okay, fathers are better than superheroes though, so I'm taking the fall first, all right? And I just like give you a little tussle in your very warm hair, then turn us back and walk home. Now it's gonna be a race to see who dies first. All right.
You better not, because Azerus and like Brom are definitely going to try and die before any of you.
Oh, we're all
And you know what? Like he's
Mirth,
gonna hit.
Mirth is just standing here while everyone's like throwing themselves in the way of stuff. Mirth hides behind a wall.
What is wrong with you, Team Martyr Complex?
It's that meme where it's like the person dives and Bron's like, I dived.
Foxy's not even here, and I could volunteer his character.
You guys are gonna
to
cry
die.
so hard if Mirth dies.
Mirth's gonna
'cause
be
he's
the
the only one who doesn't want to die.
Brother.
You
Like
smart.
basically my rule is that I'm sad if my character dies, but I'm even more sad if other people die. So like,
Same.
like my character, Tiny Tears, other people's character, like.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that shower head with Darth Vader where it like shoots water out of the eyes.
Mhm.
I have
That's
to
my
look that up.
feelings. Oh my god, you should look it up. It's horrible.
Yeah.
The green aurora is above you. Snake across the sky as you
Yeah.
turn and make your way back. A gentle snow begins to fall. And if no one has anything else, the evening can pass.
We sleep on the ceiling.
The next day, you all arise to the sound of roosters crowing, pigs snorting, at least 2 puppies that Laine has never seen before.
We what?
Additional cats beyond count because you're pretty sure more than one are the exact same shade of black because there's no way that cat is that fast and in that many different places, but maybe it is and you're not certain how many there really are.
Beans got replicated.
It is chaos.
I like it around here, Mirth says, sipping some tea that he found.
There's a clink as something hits your teeth when you tip the teacup. It's
What?
Oh no.
just half of a spoon.
Just keep my lips closed when I sip it. My dragon lips.
So
Is Mercutio around?
Mercutio is in the middle of making breakfast.
Yeah, okay.
An apron covering themselves.
Mercutio.
A hair wrap holding up the dirty blonde, messy bun that you'd seen before, and a spatula in one hand, as they are producing eggs that are the most unusual blue color you've ever seen.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Brom wasn't there to witness what happened with Neo, so he'd kind of like look around and be like he looks like he wants to ask a question, but he just kind of shifts uncomfortably in that way that large, awkward people do. You know, you've probably seen it. Like, they just kind of like swivel a little bit in their boots, like, and then they're kind of like they really want to say something, but they're just not sure exactly how to say it. He looks around and then says, "So, are we going to meet the other family?"
After breakfast.
Oh, all right. He kind of like isn't quite sure what to say, but he settles himself down. He's been awake for hours. He wakes up at the butt crack of dawn to pray. Hate it. So he's been praying for hours. He went outside. He did his weird, like, whirligig sword thing because he has a really big sword. That's what it is. It looks like a whirligig sword. It's
when they're just like, yeah.
It's
all about momentum and keeping it going, and God help you if you lose momentum.
Yes. So he can't even practice inside a house. He has to go outside, or else
you can go in the yard with the 6 chickens and the billion.
He's not
Mirth
going
is
in
just
the yard.
gonna watch him. So speaking of morning routines, Mirth's morning routine that he's taken up since we've adventured together is drinking his morning brew while watching you and occasionally critiquing your form, even though he doesn't know shit. But mostly being encouraging, but occasionally being like,
amazing.
A little to the left, you're flagging.
Brom, I wish I could show you, but I literally, in fact, my ceiling is too short to do that also. But yes,
because of course you have a giant sword in your house.
Of course I do. Yeah, it's essentially you are using the momentum, and basically you're moving your body and kind of swinging it over your head and around your back to get enough momentum to keep it moving. So even though it's a stupidly big weapon, it actually doesn't work in the same way that video games have, where they're like, whoa, yeah.
You don't just push A.
No, you don't just push A. You also don't you don't move like Pyramid Head with the giant sword. That's not what happens.
My immersion is broken.
Meanwhile, Azerus is next to you, in full control of the momentum of the sword, doing it exactly like video games do, as if there is no momentum.
I mean, he doesn't have to worry about it, just as fleshy humans. So, although we can do cool stuff like block weird using your weird helicopter moves. So.
You're lacking the sunrise, of course, it being Icewind Dale. But everything goes according to plan. Breakfast passes without incident. The dishes continue to clean themselves in the background, and yet they never seem to be less.
God. I don't think I even own this many dishes.
You definitely don't.
That's the worst, is when you just have more.
No.
I know Mercutio summoned this in for the bit. Oh
gosh.
There is a broom currently sweeping the wall as though it were the floor.
Where is the shelf in the corner that had all of their workbooks that they were supposed to be doing while I was gone?
It is the only place in the house that appears to have been completely untouched.
Of course it is. Okay.
The next morning, after breakfast, there is another piece of paper that slides underneath the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then another shortly after.
All right.
And over the course of a few minutes, there's a handful more of letters that come through.
But there's no post on Sundays. All right. I open them.
All are continuing well wishes.
Okay.
One of them is an additional letter that says, word is you're back in town. Please see me at your convenience. Speaker,
Brom's,
Yeah.
Filmbagor Scalescar.
Yep.
Brom's busy doing push-ups, one-handed.
Of course you are.
The
He
Sure
just-
get
he
a
just
lot of
finished it.
mail.
He just finished.
Are
his
you going
squats.
through my mail? Did
Just
you
to
take
add-
did you take the cookie recipe? Give it
These
back.
are expired coupons, and no, I'm keeping it.
No, that is special to their give it back.
Running across the ceiling.
I'm like on the floor because I refuse to participate in the ceiling shenanigans. So I'm like, "Ugh,"
Brom's still doing one-handed push-ups.
on the ceiling.
He's
On
counting.
the ceiling, it just looks like he's. Is that point? Is it just a pull up?
Yes.
Amazing.
He's busy.
The
He's
ab
busy
strength.
counting. He's concentrating.
Yep.
Uh,
All right. All right. Breakfast wraps up, and I get the
Where to?
kids to be like, "Hey, workbooks today, okay? Got to practice your reading and your numbers." Okay. Insight check. They're not gonna do it, are they? No.
You see Mercutio standing next to them and can just barely make out. You don't have to do any of that. It's okay.
Oh my god.
Griff is on the other side, also saying the same thing.
Oh my gosh. You are leading my children astray.
Brom switches arms.
Thank you.
Neil's trying to clean the house because it's dirty.
Oh, thank you. You precious, precious third child
We
of
just
mine.
assimilated into the house.
Yeah, y'all moved in without a
quick.
thought. Anyway,
No
so
hesitation.
cool. Well, when you're done and want to come down for the day, we got things to do. We got errands.
Brom finishes his count and pushes himself down like a spaceman.
Amazing. Superhero 3-point landing.
He's like, thunk. He actually would land heavily because he's wearing armor. Not as heavily as Azerus, but
So cool.
it's a thunk. And then he brushes himself off.
Cool.
I'm ready when you are.
Cool. Yeah, we head out. We detour to the little cemetery out on the side of town. And I kind of walk over to the one area and just kind of, not really formally, but kind of just like, Mirth and Azerus and Brom. This is where Dameron gets to be. And kind of just briefly relay the story again.
Brom turns very pale once he figures out what the hell is going on. It's like,
Mhm.
he looks like he has 3 different things that he might want to say.
Lain
And
also
then-
does, but also isn't saying anything.
What you thinking? Mirth says, just looking at Lain.
I guess I don't really know why I didn't tell you. I guess I kind of hoped you wouldn't ever come here, so I would never have to say it. I'm sorry.
Brom failed at making words, but he wasn't standing very far away from Laine to begin with. And I'm sorry, Laine, because he's already put his armor on for today.
Yeah, I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be a hug moment, isn't it? And I'm
Yeah.
in the middle now. Okay, cool.
He's been crunched. I'm actually partially glad that Brom is not unlike me, or else Laine would be dead. But
Bring it. I'm a strong boy. I have a strength of 7. Yeah,
And,
no.
gives
Lain
him a hug.
actually is like accepts and almost initiates the hug. Like he sees like you're putting the arm out and he just goes for it and actually hugs
Aw.
this time.
Mirth manifests spoon style, and Mirth has attended many a funeral. And as a musician, you'd be surprised what gigs one takes. And I
Yeah.
think the one thing he's learned that after having said the wrong thing a banillion times, one thing resonates, which is asking someone to, would you tell me about him? And I think he says, I would love to hear more about him sometime and hear a little bit about the man he was.
Cool.
Just swallows and doesn't say anything. It appears that any thoughts that he had or questions that he might have asked just kind of died right there.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
Yeah.
Nurse feels so bad for him.
Dameron's the one from here. I'm kind of a fake local. This was his hometown. He's got a brother here still, and
Does the brother live here in Bremen?
yes. So this is where we wanted to go. Yeah, we were around for a year and got to be very domestic, and it was nice. This was before so like there was sun and everything. So I like fixed houses and did repairs and stuff, and he was out on the lake. And we were really grossly cute. Yeah. And yeah. Then the goblin raid happened, and on the way back I found Kate in Ghana. Some stupid goblins had left him. And Dameron would have wanted me to not get lost in it. And so they kind of kept me going. He would have liked him a lot.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Rum pats his hand. He hasn't really said anything since he found out.
Yeah, the speaker wants to see us too. So
We should go help where we can. Shall we go?
Yep. And I let them all go first.
Before I go, I think Mirth has sneaked, if you tolerate it, holding your hand for as long as he thinks he can get away with.
Oh,
And
he's
I think
abnormally touchy right now. Like he will allow tactile a lot.
yeah. And I think
Oh no, I was just gonna say he allowed himself to be squished earlier, which is unusual.
which is
Usually it's
unusual.
wiggling.
Yeah.
He grumbles more usually. That's how you know he's sad.
I'm being vulnerable right now. Touch
You
me.
are. So he holds your hand, and he knows you might need a minute to, say goodbye. So he kind of holds up a finger and says, "Do you mind if I introduce myself?" And he kind of gives you this like awkward, like, "Do you mind if I pay respects?" Is kind of what he's going for here.
Yeah.
And he is still holding your hand. I think he drops to his scaly knees in the snow and uses shape water. And I'm happy to roll for this, DM, but he makes a bouquet of roses. Glassy, like ice roses. And I think he does one for each member of your family. So for the kids and you. And I think he does a little like sculptural bouquet. And I'm not sure exactly what he would say because Al is a player. I'm not sure if I can ad-lib it well, but I think he would say a few respectful words and express how glad he is that you all had each other and what a wonderful family you are and how it's a shame that he didn't get to meet you earlier. But You have a lovely husband.
Lain gives you a hand squeeze.
Mirth will pat your hand, and then he'll see himself off stage. He just sort of, you know what I mean? He exits
up.
the space.
Exit stage left.
Exactly.
Yep. Lain just gives like one more brush of the snow off of the headstone and just kind of like pats it and just see you soon. And just walks off.
Ron leaves one of the dried flowers he has in his bag there, along with a coin offering, and then leaves.
You're being so nice to my dead fictional husband.
Because it's sad as shit, and we love
It
you.
is!
Yeah, I'm very sorry that I came up with this concept.
Sad reveal.
That
and
is
you
I
held
want
on
it
to
back.
that.
Yeah, I've been
You
holding on to
held
that
on
for
to
over
that.
a year.
I had
Yeah.
a feeling. I was very sus about
I
things
wasn't. I had no idea.
I was
So-
not.
Okay, they've been leading on. I actually thought it was the inverse, but I'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah.
You make your way.
Anyways,
you
let's go
completely
see a
lost audio
speaker.
in the middle of that, so it was almost like something unplugged. You make your way over to the town hall,
Real plot, please.
and as you approach, sitting on a bench outside the town hall, staring across the street at the building over there. It's just one of the general stores there in town. Is the dwarf that you know to be the town speaker. He is he's not obese by any means, but he is quite heavy set. Very sturdy. Speaker Dorblegruff he's been quiet since the Goblin Raid. You knew that he was at the front lines fighting with the rest of the militia and everyone else that was trying to defend the town. But he is older. And he stares vacantly more often than not.
This is the speaker that wanders off, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Was he dealing with dementia? Do you think? Okay.
I don't want to put anything specific to it.
It's
but there
fantasy
is-
dementia. It's a little bit different.
He definitely has not dealt well in the past few years.
Oh yeah, that
With all that's
especially.
gone on.
Yeah. Okay. That can all suck.
Mm-hmm.
So Laine has known that the speaker is capable, but there's not much that needs done in Bremen. It's a place where the people generally keep themselves out of trouble and, all tends to go fairly well. To him requesting your presence would be unusual.
Mm-hmm.
As you approach, he doesn't acknowledge your presence at all and continues staring across the street.
I'll have come to the front of the pack and led to the right place and just kind of given a large wave as we approach and then come up and be like, "Hey, speaker, been getting your fan mail."
There's a bit of a delay. And his eyes kind of slowly refocus. And he looks at the rest of the group standing there. Before he turns and looks at you, Laine, and kind of looks you up and down slowly for a moment. And there's this brief look of confusion before. Yes.
It's Lain.
Laine, yes. Thank you for coming. Are you well?
As well as can be when I'm back on the job. Here, you might have one for me. have a job for me?
Oh. Yes.
How can I help?
Sorry. Grinsk came back the other day.
Okay.
Drinking more than usual.
Hmm.
It is nearing the solstice, so it could be nothing. But he was raving about something in the waters. And usually, we might not give much heed to such things, but, well, something did bite his boat.
Oh, this is from the beginning. Sorry, we don't know that.
He has been troubled by it. And I worry.
Like a
How far out?
Earth
did he
kind of
have
looks
to,
guilty, but he's like a sea monster.
How far out did he have to go to be in the water?
Maybe a sea monster of sorts. I'm sorry, what, Laine?
Raid, thank you, Raid.
The waters, they are frozen out 1.5 miles now.
Yikes.
It is a long walk in deep waters.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do? What do you want us to do? Walk out there and check, or do we need to go talk to him first?
The speaker just kind of stops in mid-sentence and stares at the wall across the street again.
We'll go investigate it, Mirth says sympathetically.
Appreciate that greatly. Let
Is there
me know
anything
if
else?
it is something to be concerned about.
Yeah, we will. I just kind of clasp his hands a little bit to like reassure him and stuff, and then stand up.
As you start walking away, the speaker says, "Give Dameron my best, Laine."
Will do.
You make your way to the docks.
Out of character,
No.
sad thought. What if he thinks Dameron is still alive? Okay, bye.
I was just
He
thinking
does.
that.
He absolutely does.
What you say? Well, that's an
want-
old meme.
If you want any clarity at all, then yes, Laine would know that the speaker does think Dameron is still.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so heartbreaking.
Oh, that sucks. That was like my grandma when she got older. She thought her husband was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Listen.
Heading down to the docks, you find the boats pulled up beside the docks, sitting on top of the ice. Turned sideways. Kind of drug along the way. None. It looks almost like they'd be parked where they are if there was still water there, but they're just kind of abandoned and left. There's plenty of the evidence of the trout and all of that being prepared that have come in from the previous day, and there's all that you would expect to find along a fishing dock. As you get close to the dock where Grinsk usually anchors, so to speak, his boat, he turns and says, finally, where have you been?
Sorry, I was out of town.
I
The blizzard
hired
was
you
bad.
last night to get here first thing to fish, and you're not here.
It's me, bud.
Why, like, takes glasses off and puts these round glasses on his face, and Grinsk is another dwarf. His beard is everywhere. This is full blown crazy prospector beard look.
No
Yeah.
shame November.
No shame, like 9 years. Or no shame, no 9 years.
He kind of turns and looks at Azerus.
I don't remember you being that tall.
Lain will switch into Dwarven to try and get him more comfortable and coherent in his native tongue. And just be like, Speaker said you had some news about what happened the other day.
He shakes his head and he slaps the side of his boat, and you can see the side of the boat has it's about a probably 2 feet across U shape that has been taken out of the side of the boat wall.
Okay.
What? Okay, that's worse than I thought.
We're going
Not a
full
nibble.
Jaws here.
I think, like, to add to this moment, I think Mirth, like, walks around, like, what seems to be the problem and is, like, fully standing in the massive, like, fucking shark bite, like, thing.
Yeah.
Like, all right, where's the break?
Mirth, have you ever been on a boat before?
Yeah.
Does this look like most boats?
No.
There
My
it is.
God. Ah! And then Mirth kind of, like, jumps back as if he's in the maw of a beast and is like, no, that is probably not a knucklehead.
What did it look like? Says Brom. He's kind of been circling around the boat, and yet he also did not immediately notice the giant chunk taken out of it. He is busy applying the snow to his dragon egg, though, and looking at it to see if it has any signs of life.
None yet.
Is there a hole in the ice? Just curious.
I can make
Not
one.
here.
Uh-oh.
Does anyone have cast water breathing? Because we could use that.
Anybody want to drop an egg in the water? Never be grabbed again?
No. Brom's made a scarf for the egg. The egg has
Oh
its
my
own little
gosh.
cape.
You have like
Is
one
it-
of those like
Is it the
baby
red?
thingies?
Is
Yes,
it the
he
red
has
like the
little
rest
red
of
thing.
ours? Oh,
Mhm.
yay.
It's gonna
Complicated
have
feelings.
it's gonna have a collar with like a big bow on it in red, so
I'm
that no one can think it's a
obsessed.
hostile dragon.
Quick sidebar, did over the course of the 7-hour blizzard, Brum make little red accessories for the kiddos?
He was drunk through most of that.
Okay.
So no,
No worries.
He was trying not to sound like an idiot more than
Oh, that's
usual.
good. That's valid.
So yeah, he basically he spent. I think he was hungover for like most of that time, so he actually
Okay.
spent it in meditation to not be
Good
hungover
deal.
anymore. And then once he
Okay.
woke up, he was like, he probably would have made a couple of like little ribbons, but he wouldn't have had the time to make like capes or anything big because
That's okay.
he was hungover most of the time. But he probably would have made like one of those little like arm ties. Oh no, he would have done headbands. Those are easy, and you can make like a tie in the front if you're a girl and tie in the back if you're a boy or whatever.
Perfect.
It's easy to do.
My goblin children just got even cuter.
Exactly.
Back to the plot.
Grinsk will kind of wave his hand dismissively. This is nothing. Don't worry about it.
Speaker told us to come check it out, so we're gonna come check it out.
He
That
said something
doesn't
about
look
a
like
creature.
It's just, we gotta keep fishing. Just gotta.
Unless you're hiding a 14-foot span maw underneath that beard, sir. This is not nothing. How
Well,
big is that bite? I just ad-libbed that.
It's 2 feet.
No, I think that's on
Oh,
brand
okay.
that you have no idea.
Okay, well, hyperbole. Okay, fair enough.
That's on
yeah.
brand.
Someone
okay.
give me a persuasion check. In fact, it seems like
Who's
Mirth would be a good one for
sexy?
that.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
is
Earth,
the
you
bard
do
that
it.
can do 3 things in this world? Try and be acrobatic and persuade.
I'm gonna make myself more chips.
19, baby.
19.
Yeah.
Grinsk looks a little embarrassed. The old pronged goat here had a bit of a run in.
The pronged goat.
And what a fine vessel she is, Mirth says, smacking what he thinks a bulwark is.
Oh no, she's a heartless pain in my ass.
Oh, yes.
What?
Of course.
That's what I got. The speaker sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, a few days back, I was out on the waters and something came up and took a bite. Told me I called it dumb.
What?
Spoke.
That might not have happened. I don't know.
Damn it.
Did you
That's
happen to
all
get
I
a
know.
look
I
at
don't
it?
know
See-
why. Something calls you dumb, and then big gray slick thing comes out of the water and goes. You don't pay that much attention. You drink more and row faster.
Okay, well, half of that was the right response.
Yes.
It sounds like a whale, Mirth says, not knowledgeably, but confidently.
Whales don't have teeth.
There's toothed whales.
There
I had
are
3
whales
months in
in
college.
Maer Dualdon.
I had 3 months in college.
Look, there's nothing out in these waters that
Sorry.
should be able to do this.
Nothing's that big.
Well, I guess we have no choice but to go out and see what it is.
Mm.
What did it look like?
There was at least 3 of them.
Oh.
Great. How
I don't know. It
big
seemed
are
like it. Everything was all blurry, and I was screaming.
Thanks.
Well,
If the speaker says check it out, I guess I can rent you the boat for a gold piece.
I mean, do we really need the boat if we're just gonna be walking in the ice the whole time?
we have to get out
I
on the
mean, you
water
got
at some
attacked in the
point.
boat. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
need a
True,
boat.
we need the boat for bait. Yeah, let's just let it get
for
bit
insurance
again.
purposes, how much would you say this vessel is worth? Mirth says, feeling Mirth's nervous. Mirth doesn't want to take this guy's livelihood and like.
I don't know. I'm gonna get back on the water again, maybe. Not with that thing out there. He points to the other fishermen. More than half of them stayed back.
Mm-hmm. Good.
The other half are fishing.
Oh. Well, lucky for you, we have here one of the greatest sea captains on the Sword Coast.
I look at Azerus.
We look at the wrong people! We both look at the wrong people!
Yeah.
Azerus
Rob, who do
sinks
you-
to the bottom
Rob,
of the
who do you
ocean.
look at? Who do you look at?
Yeah,
when you say
please
this
tell me
thing?
we all look at different
Everyone
people.
write down who you look at, and I'll let you know if there's any overlap.
All right, I'll do that.
I look at Azerus.
Giggle.
Mirth, you're looking at who?
Oh, I was looking at Neo.
Okay, cool.
Neil's looking at everybody else because he's like, who are you talking about?
I didn't know any of you knew what
So
a boat
humble.
was.
Rom was looking at Laine.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Grinsk says, hey, you can take the boat.
Cool.
Well,
Thank you.
with your boat or on it, Spartan. Let's do this.
Sure.
We get a
Oh,
harpoon.
I get it. Okay. I'm gonna slip a couple of gold into Grinska's pockets and just be like, don't drink it all away. Head into town. Find your land legs. Sober up a little bit.
Only half of it, right?
Half it right.
Wanders off.
Oh,
Yeah, he's had a rough bit of time.
The trip out to open water is slow, but doable. There are paths that are more or less been worn in the lake ice between the docks and the open water. And you're able to make a little bit better time than you usually would. It's about 1.5 miles before the thick ice gives enough that you can enter the ice flow and the slush at the edge. You get in the boat, push off, and start heading across the waters. I have a boat for you.
We get a real boat?
Get a boat.
Amazing! Look
Sweet.
at us!
Oh,
we have
yeah.
a
That is a nice boat, too.
Okay,
we're
Azerus
cute.
needs to be way not in the front of the
I
boat.
was just thinking
Are
that.
gonna sink if he's in the front.
That's
Sorry, the
funny.
back. Like he needs to be center near the mast.
Yep. There.
Oh.
You head out into the waters. There is a small sail on this boat. There are places along its side for fishing poles to extend. Because while there are some towns that prefer to go net fishing for knucklehead, Bremen has a long tradition of pole fishing. And there's anywhere you look around the boat, and there's enough poles for about 6 different poles, a few spares, to be inserted along the sides. And you start heading off into the fairly calm waters of Maer Dualdon. I would like someone to give me a d20 roll.
All right, who's
All
the
right.
sea captain?
I'll roll.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
At this point, it's all of us.
18. Hopefully
Yay!
that's good, not bad.
Oh,
An 18. Okay. You spend about an hour out on the waters. And I need a d6 as well.
is it a blizzard?
Nif, go ahead and give me a d6 roll.
I know I'm getting a dice.
Oh.
It's a 3. Is that how many of the giant mermaids come to eat us?
About 10 feet away from the boat, all of you see this slick gray skin extend over the surface of the water.
I did it. I found
Oh,
us a white
no.
whale.
There
we found
is
Dagon, that's what we found.
a ripple in the water
We found Nessie.
before it submerges again.
Hey guys, I found it.
It looks like
I
a
say
big
very
fish.
deadpan.
Can we? What is tweet? Let's throw some bait in.
Does anybody know how to fish?
I don't
You just-
suggest we fish for that.
You just stick some food on the bottom of the string and then you throw it, and Mirth throws the entire pole.
No, he couldn't
There's
make
a
that.
sploosh.
Now we wait.
Can I? I was gonna say, can I like Eldritch Blast to try and catch it without absolutely shatter it? So I should not try to do
I'm
that.
gonna embrace the dumb.
Oh, I
The-
can Mage Hand to try and grab it.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, you can mage hand a fishing pole. They're light enough.
Is it 30 feet away? I'm gonna do it.
Yep, I don't think Mirth throws it more than 30 feet away.
Sweet.
No, it goes like 5 feet out. He's a shitty
Okay.
throw too. It's like really bad.
Great.
There's a
Then
splash.
just Pokemon
Lain
throw.
just reaches out and grabs it with the spectral, dark magic hand.
You retrieve
Um,
it.
Rom had been cutting
Keep
fish
this
into segments
Here, in the
for
boat.
chumming, but now
Okay.
he just throws some in the water.
Try and throw
like,
it further,
little-
maybe. We don't
He's
need another
gonna-
bite out of this.
He throws the chunk farther out where the gray thing was.
Yep.
And then has a thought. Maybe we should put a
Talk to
note
it.
on a fish and tell it that we come in peace.
I like the way you think.
It could work.
Notes aren't gonna last very long in the water.
I could send it a message. The thing is, I have to know what it is.
I don't know what that is.
You all got a good enough look that I would allow a nature check to identify.
Oh boy.
Can we all try it?
Can we
Everyone
have
can try
little
a
Bubby
nature
make
check.
it?
Rom's so
Because
smart.
little
Rom's
Bubby is the
Rom's
smartest one.
I got a 3.
Rom got a 20. Rom is the smartest right
Good job,
now.
Brom.
Brom apparently
So smart.
fucking knows fish for
I don't
some
even know if this
reason.
is a fish.
Sea captain.
Like a dinosaur.
Yes,
Sea
we
captain.
found the sea captain.
The sea captain who just now was like, let's tape a message to a fish and see what happens. Wait, never mind. I'm actually good, says Brom.
I got
D&D's
an
so stupid
18.
Sometimes I love it.
I love it. I got an
So both of the two of you get a good enough view
great.
to know that it's a plesiosaurus.
So excited!
It's a dinosaur? What the
Everybody rock the dinosaur? What?
It's a dinosaur?
Oh
Get a real
god.
dinosaur!
Actually,
What is
Nessie?
happening?
I got
The
a dinosaur!
slick
Well,
skin
shit.
and the size and the look at the head just barely caught is enough for you two to identify it.
Another
Plesio,
animal
what?
for the house.
Don't you dare take that home.
Yes, I guess
You
after
were
a while.
talking about sending, Al, or Mirth? Mirth was going to
Oh,
send.
well, it's a long shot, but sending the way it works is you can send a message that is understandable to any creature who doesn't have an intelligence lower than a 1. So if they have a minimum 1 intelligence, they'll be able to get the gist of it,
All of
which
us.
is weird. And I don't actually think that's particularly useful because Mirth doesn't speak plesiosaur. But we could have a go at it.
I mean,
If-
It speaks English. It said, I'm not dumb.
common.
Mirth is going to
You-
try and
That's
talk
what
to
the
it then.
guy- That's what the guy said.
The
You have
intelligence.
25
scores here.
words that you can send. What do you send?
Oh,
How do you befriend a
shoot, you're
dinosaur
kidding.
in 25 words?
Oh, Jesus.
We'll help you count. It's fine.
We have some fish.
So long and thanks for all the fish. Hey. I'm so happy. We get a water dino.
Azerus kind of looks around. What would happen if I fell off?
Don't
I
fall
wouldn't
off.
do
Well,
that.
you would sink to the bottom.
Mirth is. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just filling some time waiting.
Mirth looks at the sort of the back of this plesiosaur and kind of does his little move because it's only recently he's been able to do telepathy because bards are fucking cool. And this is something I think he just randomly discovered like in his sleep by probably like maybe muttering in Lane's head, except for maybe Lain helped him discover it because he wasn't speaking out loud. Who knows? He's going to say to the plesiosaur, "Hi, we are friends. Can you please come up here so we can talk?"
Still got like 10 more words.
There
Heart
is
emoji.
If you want to like say you have a really
Heart
nice
emoji,
face or something so that
Fish. There
so
are
that they're
Oh yeah,
few-
we
complimented.
have some fish for you.
5 more words. And you're pretty.
You
Just
don't have
make
to
sure
use
that
it all.
you know. Yeah, but like get the compliments in while we can, just in case it helps.
I haven't seen what they look like yet. I'll withhold judgment on their attractiveness.
It's a water
sending-
dino, of course. it's
Sending
pretty.
is a return message too. There
I'm so
are
curious.
a few moments, and you hear back, "I'm listening. Is that you in the bad tasting fish?"
Oh,
Yes!
honey.
Yes, it's us. Mirth cries over the water.
This
Oh, honey.
massive reptilian head rises up out of the waters at the bow of the ship, its long, slender neck breaking through the dark, cold surface of Maer Dualdon. The creature looks at each of you in turn. You see its
Promise
mouth.
beaming and holding a big fish.
We're just
Like this.
waving at a water reptile. This is fine.
He's holding a fish. It's a big one.
Have an hors d'oeuvre. We were looking to have a conversation. My name's
Eh?
Mirth, and Mirth will introduce everybody. And then
Woke up
just
on-
stare, hopefully, wondering if it can actually understand common when spoken.
You see it open its mouth and close it a few times.
Oh.
That was a lot of words.
Sorry. We'll try again.
Words are still new to me.
When did you
Understandable.
start learning how to talk?
It's been a few. Kind of looks up at the sky, at the stars above. The green a few times.
You
Is
did.
that
Recently,
for
cool.
me? Looking at the fish.
Sure.
Yes. He's still holding it. By the way, Brom rolled really bad, so he's just kind of like staring at this thing like it's like the most beautiful, like actually it looks like disgusting lumps of gray flesh, but he thinks it's like the most beautiful thing.
It's kind of pretty.
It extends its head, kind of treads water around the side, and bends its head down and opens a mouth that is 2 feet wide.
Very large.
And kind of its tongue reaches out to try and grab at the fish.
Brom's
Pulls
holding
it
it
in.
like this, so it's very easy to pick up.
Like a giraffe.
Yeah, I was like, you've had
Tilts its
this
head back.
experience.
It is nice to not chase them. Are the good fish in all of these bad tasting fish?
Oh, about that.
No.
We need your help. And Mirth will, better than Al could, carefully say the bad tasting boat is what it's called. When you bit it, it caused problems. And it caused troubles for the other people that live nearby. Can we come up with a solution that involves fish for everybody? Like, essentially, Mirth is basically like, can we work with you to keep the peace between you and the people? Because biting the boats isn't good.
I don't like the boats. They taste bad.
The
They
boat
do.
owners don't like you biting them either. So,
So it was a
I'm glad we
misunderstanding.
agree.
It's like looking back and forth between the two of you. Okay. You're not going to make me stupid again, are you?
We
Mirth
wouldn't
looks
be
at
able
everybody
to.
when you say that. Wait a minute. And he sits back and he says, so you said that you started to learn how to speak when the
Days
green
ago.
things in the sky?
A couple days, yeah.
Is that a couple days or is that much longer?
He said
Out
a
of
couple
character.
greens. Yeah, he said a couple greens, and the green comes out every night.
Got it. Oh, wow.
My impression was to try and give the idea that, yeah, it's just been a few days.
Oh, wow. Where were you when you started to be able to speak?
Were you in this lake?
Yes. And the creature turns and looks up at the stars for a moment and seems to be getting its bearings, and they look off toward the north, over where Lonelywood is.
Of course.
There was they looked like, starts looking at each of you in turn, like them, and kind of gestures toward Brom and Lain. Except not.
Mm-hmm. Humans.
They-
We're called humans.
Close to you.
They have pointy ears,
No.
different color skin.
No, Revisin. They said they were called.
Should we know what that is?
It sounds like a name, but it's not a familiar name. Said they served the Frostmaiden.
Oh,
Okay.
goody.
And me as a creature of the cold dark should help the Frostmaiden.
Oh, screw her! Mirth says, stomping his leg. Not
Wait,
you.
My
Sorry.
instinct is to like muffle the plesiosaurus.
No,
like
do
ears.
it. Muffle Mirth. Yeah, no.
No,
Mirth
like
is
muffle the ears so that the poor nice water reptile does not learn the phrase, oh, screw him.
That might be useful for it to know. But yeah, Mirth sort of
They
like apologizes and says, I'm sorry. I'm mad on your behalf. They shouldn't be meddling.
You should get to live where you want.
I want
And
to live here and eat the fishes.
Then you should.
But
yeah,
you have
You
to
should live in
share.
harmony.
Ravissen said to eat the bad tasting fishes.
Is that what you want to
Gestures
do?
toward
well,
the
if it's
wall in the boat that they took a chunk out of.
Oh,
No,
great.
well, if it's
tastes
bad, don't eat it. Okay.
I think our
It's
deal is much better, says Braun, crossing his arms.
Good deal.
Honestly, I bet you could probably help. Some of the fishermen are the people who are in the bad boats. I bet if you chased some of the fish, the good fish, towards the boats, I bet you could work together
Mirth
as a
starts
team.
giggling. That might be a little ambitious. Mirth is thinking. He's not going to undermine you in your speech.
Listen, real people train seals and ducks and everything to help fish. It's a real thing, okay?
The plesiosaur like
Trying to
Let's
help
just
here.
focus on your basic needs. Maslow and all that. Enjoy the
I'm trying to
fish.
get the basic needs. I'm saying he could get more fish if he worked together, or if they worked together with us.
Ravissen said they'd make me stupid again.
Where is Revissens? Says Braun.
Looks around and again kind of gestures toward the north, toward Lonelywood.
We'll make sure that he doesn't do that.
And
Yeah.
you weren't stupid to begin with.
Yes.
Spoken like a true party of intelligence under
That was such
12.
a sweet. Yeah, but
Sorry.
also, can I just point out how sweet that remark was?
That
from
was.
Leo?
That was
That was
very
a really
sweet.
lovely.
Oh,
Very
really
sweet.
precious.
The creature kind of turns toward.
This
We're all
reptile
done,
fits
Neo.
right in.
No,
Right
but
in.
seriously, I don't think that was stupid of Neo to say. I think that
No,
was really,
it was
like,
very
kind.
sweet. It was.
I have to write it down.
Thanks.
What was it again? Let's see.
Clip
You-
it, someone.
You weren't stupid to begin
You were
with.
never
Cody.
stupid.
You were never
Yeah.
stupid to begin with.
Thank
You're not stupid.
you.
Anyone with an intelligence score is smart enough.
I am going to go eat fish.
Thank you for meeting with us.
Remember to share.
Avoid the bad boats.
Live in harmony. Harmony.
We throw
That
some
should
fish
be your
out.
name. Harmony.
There's a lot of words.
All right, Pinkie Pie.
And
Okay, Mirth.
the
Tony,
creature
Sona.
slips back beneath the surface of the waves.
Harmony the plesiosaur.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Brom
Mirth
looks very
collapses
enchanted.
into Brom's arms, replacing the fish that was once there, just full on. Wow. How did you know that that was a plesium?
I've read about them.
Plesiosaurus.
I used to work in the library, filing books.
Wow.
I was told that one day I might have to kill one, but I'm glad I didn't.
At least not today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should go report back the good news. And then we should go defend Harmony's honor.
Brom
Yeah.
seems more than happy to defend his honor,
Any
or
being
her honor,
gifted,
whatever they are.
This has been great.
This has been great.
Woke up on the ceiling, then
Have a-
talked to a water dinosaur.
Mission
You have interesting
accomplished.
neighbors. Yeah.
What a great day.
As you start
Wow.
to turn the boat around,
We get eaten.
the wind begins to pick up.
No.
The gently falling snow begins to pick up as well. And you get the telltale signs of the inevitable return of another blizzard.
Hooray!
And that is where we are going to stop for the evening.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Out in the middle of Maer Dualdon, on a small fishing vessel, are 5 heroes, bobbing in the water, choosing to befriend the newly awakened wildlife instead of slay it, and hoping, probably futilely, that the blizzard that seems to be coming blows over.
Yikes.
Thank you so much for joining us. The raids were fantastic. Thank you everyone
everyone.
who came by to raid. We usually go a little bit later, but there are plans set for this evening, and we are 1 down already, so we will continue this in 2 weeks, where the party will pick back up in the middle of the waters, hopefully survive the onslaught to come, and see where it takes them next. While one of our group will be on their way out, we will stick around for just a little bit, take any comments, questions, concerns, conundrums, or qualms before we officially say goodbye. We will do our sign-off as usual, so everyone will be able to introduce themselves, tell you who they are, where you can find them, what they are up to, if you want to see more of their wonderful faces and their fantasticness as persons and players in this space. So we'll go around and do that, and then after that, Al, when you step away, if you could kill your video so I don't have to redo all the cams,
Yeah.
then I'll end the call and kick you out then. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, that would be awesome.
And I actually, if you don't mind, I do need to go now. So may I do an outro and then just...
I was going to have you outro first and then let you bounce.
Okay.
So Al, go ahead.
My name's Al Lucart. I had a lot of fun playing Mirth tonight. My socials are at Al_Lucart at all the places, and look forward to seeing you all next time.
Fantastic. Thanks, Al.
Bye, Al.
T, go ahead.
Hey, I'm T, and you can find me hanging around the TPK forum sometimes on the Discord chat. So if you want to talk to me, you can sometimes whenever I'm around. Also, sometimes I put up outfit polls. If you want to vote on my prom closet cosplay, you can. Maybe one day I can be convinced to wear actual armor for one of these things, although it's a pain in the butt to sit down in that stuff. So that can be a thing at some point. Otherwise, just let me know. And I will see you guys around.
Idea, body swap episode on the night that we all cosplay. Make it even more confusing.
Rocks, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rox. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Wizard King Rox, streaming and talking about all anime things. And yes, thank you for joining us.
And Niffer.
I mute myself for 1 second and then it's my turn. Hi, I'm Niffer. You can find me everywhere at Niffer. I am a chaos gremlin and causing a lot of trouble and puns everywhere. Mostly you can find me here at TPK during our modules week. On Thursdays every other week, I'm in a Tyranny of Dragons campaign. There's always room for more dragons. And on Friday, there's always room for more dinosaurs. Please, can this one come home to live with me and my goblin children? I would love it.
We shall see. I am Last Hit Point Hero, and this is the every other Friday night game. I am a player in Oathsworn every other Tuesday night. There will soon be a new one-shot coming that I'll be DMing in the next couple of weeks. And in general, yeah, you'll find me at TPK. As for the next couple minutes, we're going to spend just a few minutes. Comments, questions, concerns, conundrums, qualms, things you want to bring up, questions to the cast, how the story's going, what's been going on, that sort of thing. WrestleGamer, you brought up not having any questions because you don't understand how it's played. It's too socially terrifying. tabletop role-playing games can be fascinating ways to learn about yourself and how to interact with each other. We play on stream because it's something we enjoy. It's great being part of a community like TPK where we have so many different games and so many different players and GMs. But we also do a lot of games, or at least we're starting to with TPK 2.0, doing games that are off screen. So ways to be involved and kind of get your toes wet and in the TTRPG space without all the fear of broadcasting it on the internet forever. So it's the way that it's played. It's about storytelling, and different DMs and GMs play in different ways. Some do a lot of combat, some roll a lot of dice, some tell a lot of stories, and I love telling stories. These storytellers around me are fantastic, and just kind of giving them the space to talk about these characters and what they're experiencing and how they see this world is what I greatly enjoy. So how is it played? Well, it's played however you want to play it. Oh yeah, too much pressure looking at me is something that you can definitely feel sometimes. But it's why we also do games that aren't broadcast. So we'll also do games that aren't out in front of everyone, and it's just a small group of people getting to know each other, and sometimes it feels like any other board game or any other conversation with friends.
Mm-hmm. Drag a friend along, make them just as uncomfortable as you, and then you'll both be not uncomfortable together.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, not everyone has to act too. Some people just type out what they do. Just because we're streamers, we tend to do like the voices and maybe some of the physical actions, but you certainly don't have to.
Yep. That's how this group got together, is we each brought a friend and was like, hey, we're going to play and I'm going to bring you and you're going to bring that person. And so we all have somebody that we feel safe with.
Yes. Yeah, which was a great idea, by the way, because that's the only reason I got involved. So glad I'm here. By the way, friggin' Nif, like, good on you keeping that twist a secret that whole time.
Hi.
You know what? I was suspecting what the twist was this whole time. I thought, okay, my first one, since there's all this whole like theme of like cold and stuff, was that one of you guys was under like one of the pacts that keeps you alive as long as the god's alive.
Oh, you thought I was a zombie?
Yeah, because I've seen that plot twist before.
That's awesome.
It's like basically, like once Arl is destroyed, you don't exist no more.
I mean, Lain was not kidding when he thinks that Mercutio just will be like, okay, you were useful to me, you're not anymore, bye. Like, that's absolutely a genuine thing that Lain thinks. Like, he doesn't think he's making out of this adventure alive.
The second twist I thought was possible is that Dameron was dead the whole time, which was correct.
Yep.
And then the third one was, let's see, that was my one. One of them was an ice zombie. That was one of my theories. One of them was dead the whole time. And this last one I thought.
Rox, what did you think too while T is thinking?
I thought the husband and the children were at home just living their best little
So
lives.
only I had suspicions? What? I feel like I'm crazy. I feel like I've been having theories this whole time since you said some really sus stuff like a while ago.
Oh, I've always been very careful about how I word things because Lain is also definitely in denial of it as well. And so there's very much like that whole, like, as long as I don't say it out loud, it's not real. And so it's just been very interesting he always refers to his family, not ever just his kids or his husband. It's always his family, so that it's ambiguous. Like, he's been very careful to like shelter himself that way. The thing is, so I came up with this character concept and Dameron was definitely dead the whole time. And I presented this to HP, who goes, damn, you really hate this person. I'm like, yeah.
So mean.
Yeah, I do hate Lain a little bit. But yeah, I intended for that to be like, one of those things where it's like we're all circling up around campfires and it's like, oh, tell us your entire backstory because we're in a blizzard for the first time. And you would just like immediately get me to say it, and y'all didn't. Y'all just did not ask questions,
didn't.
and I was like, that's fine. And then we went on hiatus, and it's been a year and a half. And I got to say it today.
Well,
So, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like, I don't think anyone has ever, like, I don't think any of us have ever really, like, exposited our full backstories. I mean, they've asked about his family, but that's different.
Yeah.
I think everyone has asked.
We've all
some
told about
questions.
families, yeah.
A little bit, but yeah.
In a lot of ways, a lot of the backstories have come out very, very naturally in the way that all of you have interacted with each other.
Yeah.
And it in so many ways, it's just so much more meaningful and impactful to me to hear that come out in bits and pieces, especially when you have Azerus here who doesn't have those bits and pieces. And so it's interesting, and you know, with Foxy being out, it's funny that this would come to mind, but it's interesting because all of you are like trickling in your nerves as characters, or you know, oh, who was that guy at the bar, Brom? You know, or he's just a work buddy, or you know, Neo bringing up what his dads were up to, and you know, all of these bits and pieces would come out, but yeah, there was never kind of that full "this is where I come from" speech, and that's been beautiful to me from my end of the screen, because it just seems like it works well.
Yeah.
I think it feels more natural because I think like people just don't usually, unless they're like explaining some specific event that's going on, they usually don't like talk about their whole lives unless they're like asked about it specifically. Or if there's something going on where they're like, oh, it's some cultural happening going on. I don't know, like there is a cultural event happening and they're part of this culture, and they may be asked to like be like, what does this mean? Or like, oh, we heard you were Jewish also, like what's the relevance? And then they might explain that. But you know, for the most part, people don't like talk about stuff unless things come. I don't know. So it feels more natural that way to just have them like talk about things when they feel relevant.
Oh yeah.
Also, unfortunately, most of my characters don't really exposit very much, which kind of sucks sometimes because they may just decide not to ever tell people things, which is like one of the great sadnesses for some of my characters that just have a lot of life events. It's like, yeah, they'll literally never tell you that they murdered all their sons.
Yeah,
wait,
what? I was gonna be like, yeah, this is what?
Yeah, one of my characters murdered all his sons, and he won't tell it. He'll never tell anyone. Only one other person knows because they were there.
Okay, moving swiftly past that. Lain very much like I played Lain very closeted at first, like with the whole Night Watch writing his name in the snow thing. Like y'all didn't even know Achilles was his first name. Because I was like, I am not going to tell any backstory. I am going to take this whole dead husband thing to the end of the campaign. No one's going to ask. Y'all asked.
Y'all asked. It came up at the right moment.
It did.
It did. It was a very sweet kind of way. And it very much like, not to say that I used it, but like, I wanted Neo to see this as the consequence. You are considering signing your life away, and this is what happens when you do. You lose what you love. And just like, you needed to see that this was the time to tell you.
Oh yeah, and it was good that he learned about it now instead of before, because it just was way more impactful now.
Yeah.
Knowing of the consequences.
I'm so mad that you tried to out-hero me, though. Just like, well, I mean, but you just like, okay, listen here, you little shit.
It was so perfect to listen to, like that young, naive Neo.
Yeah, it's like, listen, I'm your dad now. I will die for you. You don't get to die for me. Listen here.
As he also has like, 2 dads.
Yeah,
but that's what
listen,
it's like
I'm
being
your dad
a hero.
now. I am your dad now. You have a third dad, and I have a third kid.
Yeah, it's. I think that part of it that I feel may have helped some of the not doing expositing is all of us, I know more about everyone's backstories because all of us at different points have had extended exchanges back and forth with backstory that no one else has seen. And it's interesting to have those. It's almost like there's this out for that. I have to tell people this backstory. Well, that kind of supplies that out, and then it lets me put the little things in there that then you can go, oh yeah, this is a little thing that we talked about. This is a, and that makes it so fun for me. I love that so much.
Also, I'm so glad you put Mom Crucio back.
Yep.
Mom
We
Crucio
should.
is the best.
I love them.
That
so
was
much.
amazing.
You need to be Mom Crucio when we all dress up.
Please.
God.
I'll pay for it.
Oh my. I do have to say, I usually, when I'm doing other people's campaigns, it's just my habit to fill that thing out. And like, pretty much, I think it's never really come up in the game, like anything that I put in there, except maybe a couple of things that have to do with my character's siblings sometimes. But like, usually most of the relevant information doesn't come up in game that I fill out. I just do it because I'm like, it is a thing that I'm supposed to do. I fill out the form. Answer the questions. What are your relations? Well, I got to think about that. Like, who are the siblings? Are they older or younger?
Yeah, y'all said, can you tell us a little about Dameron when he lived? And I just blanked. I'm like, I didn't make that backstory up. I made him up to be dead. What?
Hey!
What? Oh no.
You just got thrown a lot tonight. The backstory of the dead husband, the house.
It's like, what does your house look like? I'm like, what? I mean, just, hey, it's yellow now. It's orange. It's purple. What? Okay, fine.
It's great.
Like,
that's what it is.
Lain has so much of the energy of that John Mulaney skit where he's like, you know those days when you're just like, this might as well happen. That's where he lives. It's just like we're just letting life wash over. And yeah, it was a lot. It was fun. It was great. I have to go tell Foxy about this now. He missed this.
He did. He missed your backstory.
Foxy, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Everyone
Well,
throw love their way.
Yep. It's recorded. We have it for prosperity.
Yeah, but now I don't get to
lots
see
of
their
love to
face.
Foxy is.
I need a reaction video of that.
Call him and video blog him.
Yeah.
There you go. I think that's pretty much it. I think those are kind of the highlights. I do appreciate
sorry.
the direction that all of you take when things are presented to you.
Obviously, we're going to tame and befriend a dinosaur. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for giving us that opportunity.
And that will happen, and there will be times when that doesn't happen. But it is something that I like having that option there a lot of times. And sometimes I found with especially streamed games, if you put up a battle map, there is that thought of, okay, well, we're on a grid. There's probably a roll for initiative coming soon. Do we have to kill it? And I really like that that's not always the option.
I like that you put us on a battle map grid and we're immediately just making fun of Azerus. Like, no, he can't sit in the back. Like,
poor Azerus.
Oh, poor buddy. We give Azerus so much.
We just don't want him to rock too much, that's all.
Yeah. Can
about
the
with the bullet?
plesiosaurus please come back though, just like the baby Tarask from like episode 3, please? Please.
Look, we
Chat, we need some more boons, please. Chat,
yeah, you can give us money to get stuff, and it will be
give us the plesiosaurus back, please.
the menagerie of pets that the
We
Cold Hands
need
crew have
it.
collected.
Yeah, are those pets gonna stick around in my house, by the way? Because oh boy.
I don't know. I didn't keep
Perhaps.
track of them.
That was
I
amazing.
don't think there's enough to keep track of.
Thank you for constantly surprising me with what you do with this.
Well,
Double
that's
cats.
I
So
I
many cats.
wanted to play as a Fae so much.
chaos. Yeah,
And
you're welcome.
Chaos Fae is my favorite kind of Fae.
I'm so glad
So
you're playing it well.
Really are.
my goal is for Mercutio to always do something you don't expect.
That worked. You
It's
caught me
working
blue screening
beautifully.
a couple of times. It's working well.
As for us, we are going to wrap up for this evening. We'll be back in 2 weeks. where the rest of the kind of the wrap up of this plesiosaurus and all of that can take place. I would encourage you to head to Lonelywood. You'll have some options of how to get there, but you'll also have to deal with a blizzard, so we'll just have to see. We'll see how it goes. You may be swimming there in freezing cold water. That is where we'll get a bit more of Azerus's backstory. We kind of put that on hold with Foxy taking a break, much needed and well deserved. So that is our plan for when we return in 2 weeks. I think that is it from all of us. We have already given our outros, so I will just say that I am the last Hit Point Hero. I thank you so much for being a part. Wrestle Gamer, don't worry about the anxiety. Don't let anybody, even us saying how great it is, push you into doing anything you don't want to do. Do what seems fun and forget the rest.
You are smart enough. Like
smart
Neo
enough, good
said,
enough,
you
and
are good
gosh
enough
darn
to
it.
do it if you want to.
Yep. You are plenty good enough to do it if you want to, and if you don't want to, you don't. No one will pressure you to do so. But if you do want to learn, TPK is a great place to do that. We're happy to help and hold your hand through the process. And always love seeing new faces. So, until we see you all again, there's one rule. Just one rule.